Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. There's a myth. It's been sold to us for far too long that success is about working smart, finding shortcuts, and playing the game in the most efficient way possible. I'm here to tell you the truth. Success is about working hard, not smart. Now, I know that might sound contradictory because we've all heard the term work smarter, not harder. But here's the thing. Working smarter doesn't mean taking shortcuts or trying to skip steps. It means you are disciplined enough to stay focused on the long game and put in the consistent effort day after day. That's what it takes to succeed. Let's break this down. First, let's talk about the myth of working smart. When people tell you to work smart, what they often mean is that you should avoid doing the hard work. They'll say things like, find ways to leverage other people's efforts, or find a system that works for you. But let's face it, most of the time, this just means trying to find an easy way to get to the top without doing the work that's necessary to get there. Success doesn't come from avoiding hard work. It comes from putting in the effort consistently, whether you feel like it or not. You can't shortcut hard work, and here's why. Hard work builds your skills, your resilience, and your reputation. These things take time to develop, and they can't be outsourced or faked. Now, I want to remind you of something important. Consistency beats genius. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room to succeed. You just need to show up every single day. The most successful people are the ones who have the discipline to stay focused on the task at hand, even when it's hard. And let me tell you something. Success doesn't come in bursts of brilliance. It comes from small, consistent actions taken over time. And that brings me to the next point. Discipline is key. It's not about being motivated all the time. It's about doing the work even when you don't feel like it. Motivation will come and go, but discipline is what gets you through the tough days. Discipline is about getting up when you'd rather stay in bed, putting in the hours when it's easier to watch TV. It's about building habits that serve your success. But let's be real. There's a huge barrier we all face, and it's called resistance. You know what I'm talking about? The voice in your head that says, I'll do it later, or I'm not good enough. This resistance is normal, but you have to learn to push through it. It's okay. Success is found on the other side of resistance. When you feel that pushback, don't stop. Keep moving forward, because the hard work you're doing now is building your future. Another thing to remember, success doesn't happen overnight. We live in a world where everyone expects instant gratification. We want everything now, success, wealth, recognition. But the truth is, real success takes time. It's about embracing the process, not just the outcome. When you focus on the process of doing the work, you'll start to see the results. They may not come as quickly as you want, but they will come if you keep showing up. And finally, let's talk about this idea of working smart. In the world of endless hustle culture and quick fixes, people often forget that there's no substitute for hard work. Don't let anyone fool you into thinking success should come easily. It won't. It's hard, and that's okay. The grind is where the magic happens. So forget about trying to find shortcuts. Focus on doing the work, step by step, day after day. So here's your takeaway today. If you want to be successful, stop looking for the easy way out. Work hard, not smart. Be consistent, be disciplined, show up even when you don't want to. Overcome the resistance. Trust the process, and success will follow. The question is, are you ready to do the work? The concept of working smart has become one of the most widely accepted principles in the modern world, especially when it comes to success. The idea is simple. Find the easiest, most efficient way to achieve your goals, use minimal effort, and avoid unnecessary struggle. On the surface, this sounds appealing. Who wouldn't want to avoid the grind and take the shortcut to success? But here's the problem. The idea of working smart can sometimes lead us down a dangerous path. It encourages us to look for easy answers, shortcuts, or strategies that may not always align with the real effort it takes to succeed. In reality, the pursuit of smart work can become an excuse to avoid doing the hard work that actually leads to long-term success. The truth is, there's no substitute for hard work. Hard work is the backbone of achievement. While working smart might seem like a good idea, it often overlooks the one thing that truly determines success: consistent effort over time. It's not about finding shortcuts that allow you to bypass challenges. It's about staying the course, even when things get difficult. When we focus on working smart, we often focus to much on the immediate results and not enough on the journey. Success doesn't happen by skipping steps. It happens by putting in the time, day after day, and learning the skills necessary to build a strong foundation. For instance, let's say you're learning to play an instrument. You can't expect to master it by finding a shortcut. You'll need to practice regularly, develop your skills, and understand the nuances of the instrument. No matter how much you want to take the shortcut, there's no way around it. You must put in the work. There is no magic formula that replaces practice. Now I understand that this doesn't mean working hard for the sake of working hard. It's not about overworking yourself or running yourself into the ground. Working hard is about focusing on the necessary actions that get you closer to your goals, even when they're uncomfortable. In fact, some people might mistake working hard for simply putting in long hours. But working hard is about being purposeful and intentional with your time. It's about prioritizing what truly matters and making the necessary sacrifices to reach your objectives. People often talk about working smart as though it's a way to avoid failure or a way to sidestep the inevitable obstacles we face in our pursuit of success. But the reality is that failure and setbacks are an essential part of the process. They are the learning opportunities that help us grow, adapt, and improve. If we always try to avoid them by looking for shortcuts, we miss out on those valuable lessons. It's easy to believe that working smart means bypassing mistakes. But the truth is that it's through mistakes that we gain the most insight and wisdom. Hard work is the vehicle that allows us to overcome those failures and ultimately reach our goals. Moreover, working smart is often tied to the idea of finding efficiency at all costs. While efficiency is important, it can sometimes lead us to undervalue the importance of learning and development. If we constantly seek out the quickest way to do something, we may never truly master it. We may rush through the steps and miss out on crucial learning moments. Hard work, on the other hand, requires us to engage deeply with the process, to embrace the struggle, and to push through when things feel tough. This is where true growth happens. It's when you put in the hard work, when you push through the discomfort, that you truly start to improve and build something of value. Let's also acknowledge the fact that working hard doesn't always produce immediate results. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, it's easy to get frustrated when the results of our hard work don't show up right away. But this is the reality of success. It takes time. When you focus too much on working smart, you might get frustrated when things don't happen quickly. You might start to question whether your hard work is worth it. But the truth is, success isn't a straight line. It's a process that unfolds over time, and when you put in the hard work, the results will come, just not on your timeline, but when you've earned them. Ultimately, the idea that we can work smart and avoid hard work can be a trap. It can set us up for disappointment when the shortcuts don't lead to the success we want. The real key to success isn't in avoiding hard work, it's in embracing it. Hard work teaches us discipline, resilience, and perseverance. It builds character. And when you commit to working hard, even when things get tough, that's when the real magic happens. So let's stop focusing on trying to work smart and start focusing on working hard. Because at the end of the day, hard work is the only thing that truly pays off. Success isn't about being the most talented person in the room or having the best ideas. It's about consistency. The truth is, the people who succeed over the long term are not always the smartest or the most gifted. They're the ones who show up every day, no matter how they feel, no matter what obstacles they face. Consistency is what differentiates those who achieve their goals from those who only talk about them. It's easy to assume that success is reserved for the naturally gifted or the chosen ones, but that simply isn't the case. Success is for anyone who is willing to commit to consistent, focused action day in and day out. Many times we look at successful people and see the final product, their achievements, their results, the rewards of their efforts. What we don't often see are the hours, weeks, months, or even years they spent grinding away behind the scenes. These individuals didn't wake up one day with success handed to them on a silver platter. They showed up day after day and did the work when no one was watching. They didn't get distracted by the latest trends, the next shiny object, or the promise of overnight success. They kept moving forward, even when it felt like their efforts weren't paying off. There's a powerful lesson in this: consistency beats genius. It's not about being perfect, and it's certainly not about being the most talented. In fact, consistency often trumps intelligence. Talent is important, but it's not enough. The people who make it to the top are the ones who refuse to quit, the ones who continue to push through the tough days, the ones who commit to their goals for the long haul. They know that success doesn't come from one great leap. It comes from the daily steps, even the small ones, that accumulate over time. Think about the process of learning a new skill. At first, it feels awkward, frustrating, and even discouraging. But if you stick with it, if you show up every day to practice, you will improve. The key to that improvement is consistency. When you practice every day, even for just a few minutes, you will slowly but surely get better. It's not about having an instant breakthrough or an overnight transformation. It's about committing to the process, staying disciplined, and trusting that the results will come with time. This principle applies not only to personal growth, but also to any project, business, or goal you may have. If you want to build a business, for example, you can't expect immediate success. There will be long hours, setbacks, failures, and frustrations. But if you keep working on it every day, whether it's marketing, customer service, product development, or networking, you will see progress. It's not about doing everything perfectly or all at once. It's about taking small steps every day and staying consistent with your efforts. Over time, those small steps add up, and you'll look back and realize how far you've come. In fact, this is one of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to achieve success. They expect fast results, they expect to reach the finish line quickly, but what they don't realize is that the journey to success is a marathon, not a sprint. And like any marathon, you have to pace yourself. You have to keep going, even when you're exhausted, even when you're not seeing immediate results. When you stay consistent, you build momentum. And with momentum, you can achieve things that may have once seemed impossible. A big part of consistency is being willing to show up even when you don't feel like it. On the days when you're tired, when your motivation is low, or when things just don't seem to be going your way, those are the days that truly matter. It's easy to work hard when things are going well, but the real test of consistency comes when the going gets tough. The people who succeed aren't the ones who give up when things get hard. They are the ones who keep showing up no matter what. And here's the beauty of consistency. It compounds over time. The effort you put in today might not produce instant results, but over weeks, months, or even years, it will pay off. Think of it like saving money. The more consistently you save, even in small amounts, the bigger your balance grows over time. Success works in the same way. It's not about taking huge leaps. It's about making progress each and every day. The bottom line is this: consistency is the true key to success. Talent and intelligence may give you a head start, but it's consistency that will carry you through the long haul. When you commit to showing up day after day, you put yourself in a position to achieve things others only dream of. So stop waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. The best thing you can do is simply get started and remain consistent. Even when the results aren't immediate, success will follow. Discipline is often misunderstood as a rigid, controlling force that limits freedom or spontaneity, but in reality, discipline is the foundation of all success. Without discipline, your goals will remain just that. Goals without a plan for achievement. It's easy to think that success comes from motivation or inspiration, but motivation is fleeting. It's like a spark that ignites, but often fades away just as quickly. Discipline, on the other hand, is like the steady fuel that keeps the fire burning even when the spark fades. It's about doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like humanly at it, even when the rewards aren't immediately visible. When you are disciplined, you don't wait for the perfect moment to act. You don't wait for motivation to strike or for things to align just right. Discipline pushes you to do the hard work, even when it feels uncomfortable, inconvenient, or when you'd rather be doing something else. It's about making choices that align with your long-term goals rather than indulging in the easy path of short-term gratification. In a world full of distractions, discipline is your anchor. It helps you stay focused on what truly matters, and it prevents you from being sidetracked by the constant pull of instant pleasures or other people's opinions. One of the most significant challenges in building discipline is that it requires sacrifice. Discipline asks you to say no to the things that feel good in the moment, but won't serve you in the long run. It asks you to delay gratification and prioritize what will help you achieve your goals, whether that's waking up early to exercise, turning off your phone to focus on work, or foregoing immediate pleasures to invest in your future. Sacrifice is uncomfortable, but it's the only way to create the space for meaningful success. It's often tempting to seek the path of least resistance, but true growth comes from the discomfort of doing things that require focus, effort, and consistency. Discipline also involves creating structure in your life. It's about setting up routines that make success inevitable. When you're disciplined, you don't have to rely on motivation or feelings to get things done. You develop habits that help you achieve your goals without having to. Make decisions every day. Routines take the mental burden off your shoulders and allow you to focus on executing. For example, if your goal is to write a book, discipline doesn't mean waiting for the perfect inspiration to strike. It means setting aside time every day to write, even if it's just a few hundred words. When you make this a habit, you don't have to rely on motivation. You simply show up day after day and do the work. Another powerful aspect of discipline is its ability to build resilience. Life is filled with challenges, and it's easy to get discouraged when things don't go as planned. But when you have discipline, you develop the ability to keep going despite setbacks. You learn to persevere through adversity and stay committed to your goals, even when progress feels slow or when you face obstacles that seem insurmountable. Discipline teaches you to trust the process, to keep working even when it feels like nothing is happening. Over time, this resilience compounds, and you become more capable of handling difficult situations. You realize that setbacks are just part of the journey, and they don't have to derail your progress. A lack of discipline, on the other hand, leads to a cycle of frustration and failure. Without discipline, you may start strong, but your motivation will eventually wane and your goals will fall by the wayside. You'll find yourself constantly starting over, never truly making progress toward what you want. Discipline is what prevents you from getting caught in this cycle. It's what helps you keep your eyes on the prize, even when things get tough. In essence, discipline is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's the force that turns dreams into reality by providing the structure, focus, and consistency necessary for success. It's the commitment to doing the hard work even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. And it's what keeps you going when the initial excitement fades. With discipline, success becomes inevitable because you are consistently putting in the work required to achieve your goals, day after day, no matter how you feel. Success isn't just the result of inspiration or luck, it's a direct consequence of disciplined effort. The question is, are you willing to do what it takes, even when it's hard? Because discipline is the key that unlocks the door to lasting success. We all experience resistance. It's that internal force that holds us back, keeps us stuck, and whispers in our ear that we should quit, take a break, or find an easier way. Resistance is natural. It's a part of being human. But the real question is, how do we handle it? Do we give in or do we push through? Resistance is one of the most powerful forces that stands between us and our goals. It's the voice of doubt, fear, and uncertainty. It's the nagging feeling that what we're doing is pointless or that we're not good enough. And yet, resistance is not something to avoid, it's something to overcome. In fact, resistance is a sign that we're on the right path. The bigger the resistance, the closer we are to something important. Resistance shows up in different forms. Sometimes it's the fear of failure, the fear of being judged, or the fear that we're not capable of achieving our goals. Other times it manifests as procrastination, as we put off doing the hard work and convince ourselves that we'll do it later. It can even look like perfectionism, where we avoid taking action because we want everything to be perfect before we begin. These are all forms of resistance, and they're designed to keep us from doing the work that will ultimately lead to success. But here's the truth. Resistance doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means you're doing something right. If you're facing resistance, it means you're pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. You're challenging yourself to grow, and that's never easy. Growth doesn't happen without discomfort. If you're not feeling resistance, it's a sign that you're not reaching for something big enough. To achieve anything worthwhile, you have to learn to dance with resistance, to acknowledge it, and then to keep moving forward in spite of it. The key to overcoming resistance is to recognize it for what it is. Resistance is not a sign that you should stop. It's a sign that you need to push harder. The more resistance you feel, the more it means you're on the verge of breaking through to something bigger. It's like when you're working out and you feel that burn in your muscles. It's uncomfortable, but it's a sign that your body is growing stronger. The same principle applies to your personal growth. The discomfort of resistance is a sign that you're stretching yourself, learning new things, and becoming better. But how do you push through it? First, you need to acknowledge that resistance will always be there. It's a part of the process. Don't expect it to go away. Instead, understand that it's a natural part of the journey towards success. Once you stop trying to avoid it, you can begin to take it head on. You can start by making small commitments to yourself. Instead of focusing on the end goal, focus on the next step in front of you. Resistance can feel overwhelming if you look at everything you need to do, but if you break it down into smaller tasks, you'll find that it's much more manageable. Another way to push through resistance is by developing a strong why. When your motivation starts to waver, when the resistance feels like too much, remind yourself why you started in the first place. What is driving you to do this work? Is it the vision of who you'll become, the impact you want to make, the life you want to create? When you connect with your why, it becomes much easier to keep moving forward even when resistance is at its peak. It's also important to understand that resistance is not permanent. It might feel insurmountable at the moment, but it's always temporary. The more you face it, the easier it becomes to handle in the future. Each time you push through resistance, you strengthen your resilience. You become more capable of handling the challenges that come your way, and you build the mental toughness required to achieve your goals. Resistance also teaches you patience. It forces you to trust the process and understand that success doesn't come immediately. The best things in life require persistence. It's about showing up when you'd rather stay home, working when you don't feel like it, and pushing through the resistance that tells you to quit. The more you push through it, the more it loses its power over you. Eventually, resistance will no longer feel like an insurmountable wall, but rather just another obstacle to overcome on your way to success. In the end, resistance is not your enemy, it's your ally. It's the sign that you're moving in the right direction, that you're growing and expanding. Every time you face resistance and keep going anyway, you're building the strength, determination, and resilience needed to achieve your goals. So don't avoid resistance, embrace it. Use it as a tool to propel you forward, because on the other side of that resistance lies the success you've been working toward. Success is never about a single dramatic moment of achievement. It's about the small, seemingly insignificant actions that you take consistently, day after day. The power of daily habits cannot be overstated. In fact, your habits are the foundation of everything you do. They shape your life, your work, your success, and even your character. If you want to be successful, you need to understand the immense power that daily habits hold. They are the compound interest of personal development. The small positive actions you take every day build upon each other, creating momentum that leads to big results over time. The truth is, success doesn't come from doing extraordinary things every once in a while. It comes from doing ordinary things extraordinarily well, day in and day out. It's the small actions that add up over time that really make the difference. For example, waking up an hour earlier every day to work on a project, reading for just 15 minutes each morning, or making time each day for a quick workout might not seem like a lot in the moment, but over time, those small efforts compound and can lead to extraordinary results. Think about it. Reading for 15 minutes every day for a year adds up to over 90 hours of reading. That's more than enough time to read several books and significantly improve your knowledge. This is where the concept of compound growth comes into play. It's the idea that small, consistent actions can snowball into massive outcomes. Just like how saving a small amount of money every day or investing consistently can create large financial gains over time, the same principle applies to personal growth and success. The most successful people are not necessarily the ones who take massive actions once in a while. They are the ones who take small, focused actions every day, often without anyone noticing. They have learned to harness the power of consistent habits that align with their goals. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see immediate results from your efforts. We live in a world that prizes instant gratification and quick results. But the reality is that true success takes time. It requires patience, persistence, and most importantly, the willingness to trust in the process. The daily habits you develop today might not pay off immediately, but over time, they will build the foundation for the success you want. That's why you must be patient with yourself and your progress. Trust that your efforts will compound over time and lead you to the results you desire. The beauty of daily habits is that they don't require constant motivation. Motivation is fleeting, and relying on it alone won't get you very far. But when you develop habits, you don't have to rely on motivation to take action. You simply do the work because it's part of your routine. Habits make success inevitable. For example, if you're trying to get in better shape, motivation might get you to the gym for a few days, but it's your habit of going regularly, even when you don't feel like it, that will lead to long-term success. Habits eliminate the need for constant decision-making. When you have a solid habit in place, you don't waste energy trying to motivate yourself to take action. It's just what you do. One of the most important aspects of building powerful daily habits is consistency. Consistency is what makes your habits stick. It's not about doing something perfectly every day. It's about showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's hard. The more consistent you are, the more these habits will become ingrained in your life, and the less you'll have to think about them. Success in this sense is not about perfection. It's about regularity and showing up no matter the circumstances. It's also important to note that not all habits are created equal. To make progress toward your goals, you need to ensure that the habits you are building are aligned with those goals. Developing habits that support your ambitions will ultimately lead you in the direction you want to go. Whether it's setting aside time every day to work on your business, writing daily, practicing a skill, or making healthier choices, your habits must reflect your priorities. When you build habits that align with your long-term vision, you are much more likely to succeed. However, building good habits isn't easy. It takes time and effort to establish new routines,